settled over Kentucky, up there, around Kentucky.
Is that right?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
And that's where my dad was. And he was superintendent of schools of Boyd County about 12 years.
Uh-huh.
Then he went on to law and he was judge up in Catonsburg.
Is that right?
Yep.
You say that's your dad or your grand?
Yeah, B.B. Tripper, Bass Tripper, B.B. Tripper.
So he was a judge in Catlettsburg, huh?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just,
And
okay.
Jesse Stewart.
Take off your hat there. Let me see if,
Jesse Stewart was my teacher, and my dad was his teacher.
Jesse Stewart, for those who want to know, was an author, wasn't he?
Oh, an author. Oh, was he ever?
Did you read his books?
Most of them. I've got an interesting story I could tell you. In a way, I would go to a doctor up to Columbus, and we got talking one day, and he brought up the Jesse Stewart.
Uh-huh.
I said, well, I know Jesse. He's my teacher.
Oh, is that right?
He said he was. I said, yeah. He said, I've got all of his books except 2 books.
I wonder if I could pull this chair around. Is that
Yeah, sure, pull it out and just put that stuff over there. So he said, would you contact Jesse Stewart? I said, yeah, I can. I still do.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, he wanted this book. And I contacted Jesse Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote me back. He said, dear Reed William Triplett.
Mm-hmm.
Because he remembered me.
He did.
Oh, yeah. And he said, I got 2 of these books that doctor wants, and you can have one of them, or both of them, if you want them. He said, I want $200 a piece. So, well, I took the information that he wrote to me to my doctor
Uh-huh.
up there in Columbus. But, you know, he declined it.
Is that right?
He didn't, $200 didn't mean that much to him, I'm sure. But he was so stingy that he turned that down. So I said, well, it's up to you. I've delivered the message, and it's up to you to do what you want to do. So anyhow, he didn't accept it.
Did you ever get the books? You didn't get the books?
Oh, no, I told him, you see what he wrote to me, and I handed it to him.
Okay. Well, you told me your name and your date of... Where were you born? You say in Boyd County, Kentucky?
I was born in Ashland. Gartrell Hill, what they call Gartrell Hill.
Okay.
It's like a hilltop here in Portsmouth.
Okay. Now your present address. Tell me your present address here.
Well, I got a box out here, 1334 Mary Street.
Mary Street. Okay.
Then I got a P.O. box, 1044.
Uh-huh. That's in Portsmouth.
Portsmouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now is this Portsmouth address too?
Yeah.
1334 Mary Street in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're retired?
Well, I've got a lifetime military pass, I'll put it that way.
Okay. Where did you go to work when you got out of the military?
Well, I was associated with the bowling lanes.
What was it?
The bowling lanes. Bowling lanes in Portsmouth.
Bowling lanes.
Yeah.
Okay.
My sister and brother-in-law owned that.
Oh.
But I also I went 3 years of pre-law at Ohio State, and then I also had a nightclub up there.
You had a nightclub?
Yes.
Okay, what was the name of it?
H&S.
H&S Nightclub.
Yeah, we bought it from Pete Glassman. He owned a cab company.
Now, which bowling lanes was it down here? Sunset or?
Well, that was all 3 of them.
You had all 3 of them?
We had Classic.
Oh, the Classic, yeah.
To begin with, that was the first one. And then me and Verge, my brother-in-law, we went up and built the Sunset from scratch up. And then the third one was a skating rink.
Skating.
Down over the hill there.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we changed it to a bowling lane.
Rainbow.
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 That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was.
You guys were all 3 of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'll be darned. Now, the Classic had a little bar in there too, didn't it?
They did have, we had nothing to do with the bar. We had a bar in Sunset, but it was leased out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very interesting story. You probably haven't heard, or maybe you have heard. Irene Lang, she ran the bar up there. It was leased out at the Sunset. And we were going through some pictures one day, her and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, you're a nice looking lady. You should have been in Hollywood and make some pictures. In fact, she did.
Oh, Irene Lane.
Irene Lang. And she had a little boy, about 4 or 5 years old. And they were on their way to ball game down in Cincinnati. And Irene said, now, I want to tell you something. You've got a stepbrother up in Columbus that runs a show up there. He's a son of our president, Reagan.
He's the son of the president.
Yeah, Reagan.
Stepbrother.
Stepbrother.
Who has a stepbrother?
Irene.
Irene had a stepbrother.
Yeah, but she had a little boy. She was telling him, going to this ball game down in Cincinnati,
Mm-hmm.
and
She was telling the little boy?
yeah, I said, you got a half brother up at Columbus, and he's got a talk show up there. In fact, he's got a talk show today.
Uh-huh. What's his name?
Michael Reagan.
Michael Reagan is Irene's son's half-brother or stepbrother?
Well, a stepbrother.
Stepbrother, okay.
Yeah, and by Ronald Reagan. And little boy is Reagan's boy.
Uh-huh. Okay, what was the little boy's name?
Well, I'm coming to that.
This is history.
Him and, yeah, I'm telling, that's right. Him and Michael comes down all the time
Mm-hmm.
and decorates his mother's grave, out the grave.
Where is that? Out at...
It's here in town someplace.
Michael Reagan comes down here, who is the son of Ronald Reagan,
yeah.
and decorates his mother's...
And so is little, I'll come up with the name.
If you come up with the name at any time, you bring it out,
Okay,
okay?
I'll-
Just
I'll-
pop right out there with it.
Oh, yeah, I will,
Okay.
because I know him well.
Okay.
I know him well.
Well, you had a nightclub in Columbus.
Columbus, on South Fifth Street, almost at Livingston Avenue.
Uh-huh. South
And-
5th Street.
And then there was a school across the street from us. The state wanted a school, so they bought the nightclub from us.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out on Livingston Avenue and James Road and built a new place called the Embers.
The Embers.
The Embers, yeah.
E-M-B-E-R-S, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Mhm.
quite popular. And
White poplar what?
well, it was a quite popular establishment out there.
Okay.
And a retired sergeant of the police department bought that place. So I presume he's...
Bought the Embers from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think probably he's still maybe there, I don't know.
When's the last time you've been up to the Embers?
Oh, that's about the last time we sold it, I guess.
Okay.
But
Now,
it's still there. It
this
was.
nightclub was like a lounge, and you'd have a
Lounge?
bar, dancing?
Well, we had a specialty of pizza and fried chicken.
Okay.
Yeah. My sister, she's super.
Super
at
cook?
Yeah, cook.
Okay.
And we had that until this sergeant bought us out.
Now, when you say nightclub, did you have dancers in there?
No, we didn't have dancers, but we did to the old place.
You did?
Yeah.
Down on Livingston?
Down
or
on
what,
Livingston,
Fifth?
yeah, Fifth Street there. We had an actor, before he made big time, he'd come in and pick his guitar for drinks.
Is that right?
Yeah, John, sometimes I can't come up with it, but he was before he went big time, and he
Really?
is today.
Did he?
But he's got a real bad sickness now.
Oh, I see.
So.
Well, if you think of him, you to come up with that name. Okay, we got two names that you're going to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so after the war, after you got out of the service, you went into the bowling alley business, and then you bought a nightclub.
Well, I had the nightclub prior to the bowling business.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now I'm coming to that, but my brother-in-law,
What was his name?
Verge Acres.
Verge Acres.
Virgil Akins.
Akins.
Acres.
Acres.
He's from Kentucky also.
Mm-hmm.
He called up there and wanted to know if I had time, I could come down to Portsmouth, and he wanted to get in the oil business.
Oil.
Yeah. So I come down and I went out to Oklahoma and got some geologists and got some land, sewed it up, and we started drilling for oil in 1958, I believe. And then when I also become associated with the bowling lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And we popped 3 gushers.
Did you?
1, 2, 3, fast as we could. Nothing like that had hit Oklahoma since 1923. That's when I was born. But people come out there with bicycles and horses and anything to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we lost a lot of oil capital and everything.
I see.
And then we hit 12 straights,
Wow.
but there wasn't all gushers.
Mm-hmm.
Those first 3 were.
Mm-hmm.
And the 13th, and I had controlling interest in the 13th, I believe. Also, I had controlling interest in the first, the gusher. But anyhow, the 13th was a dry hole.
Oh, is that right?
Dry as a bone, and we stopped there.
Okay.
We stopped there, and then I come on back.
Would you make any money on that?
We did very well. We got our investment back and everything, but it's not all gravy.
Uh-huh.
Believe me.
Uh-huh.
There's so much work in cleaning these wells up.
Were you actually out in the field helping drilling?
No, we were supervising.
I see, okay.
And I had a new Cadillac, Coupe de Ville, and I parked it out there in the field. And I don't know where you ever heard of Ralph Frowine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Ralph was with us.
Now, he was a lawyer down here, wasn't he?
No, Chess Fitch was.
Oh, Chet, okay.
Chess was our lawyer.
Who am I thinking about then? Frowine.
Oh, he died.
Yeah.
He died, yeah. I'll come up with him too. Sam.
Sam,
Sammy
yeah.
Frowine.
Sam. Were they related?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That was Sam's uncle,
Okay.
Ralph. And anyhow, Ralph come out there in the field. He liked his drinks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he got in my new car and ran that thing into a tree. Now, he said, I'll pay for it, Reed. I said, yes, you will.
Made you mad, didn't it?
Well, yeah, brand new car. I didn't have any miles on it. So anyhow, that 13th was a dry hole, and then we stopped there.
Did he pay you for the cars?
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Okay, well
Yeah,
now.
Ralph could pay.
Okay.
And he owns that, the motel there on Kendall Avenue or somewhere.
The Etmar?
Edmar, yeah.
Does he still own it?
No, he's dead.
He's
He's
dead.
sold out.
And he sold out then?
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
him. Ralph?
Yeah, Ralph Frowine.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of Sam Frowine, like I said, it was his nephew that died, but his dad also died. His name was Sam too.
Now, in between the nightclub business and the bowling alley was this oil business out in Oklahoma. then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd go out there and have our meetings. And, we were Sasakwa Oil Company.
You've done a little bit of everything then.
I have.
Were you what they call a wildcatter? Wildcat oil?
Well, we got a geologist from Standard Oil Company over in South America.
Mm-hmm.
He looked and acted like John Wayne.
He did.
Yeah, exactly. Swaggered and everything. He could pick up a handful of sand, go like that, and tell you whether it's the producer or not.
Okay. Did he tell you on the 13th one?
No, I
You
don't
wasn't there.
remember that. I don't think he was
Okay.
there then.
All right.
But anyhow, he may have, but we went ahead.
All right.
We invested a lot of stuff.
Now, you were out in Oklahoma. Is that where you met your wife?
I met my wife in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Her and her sister went out there on troubleshooting on reservations for Washington, D.C. And
That's the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
BIA.
And when they would go out, you say troubleshooting, they'd go out to a reservation to see what was wrong?
That's right. And that's where I met her. My wife was there.
In Phoenix.
And then she had a sister. Her sister stayed 35 years in one office there in Phoenix.
Wow.
And never left.
It's a long time to be in the office.
35. And she retired, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now, did you marry your wife in the West, in Arizona?
I did. I married my wife at her uncle's home. He was chief of police of Muskogee.
Muskogee, Arizona.
No,
Muskogee,
no,
oh,
Muskogee, that's
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Phoenix.
Mhm.
He was no, he was he was chief of police in Muskogee at one time.
Okay, that's in Oklahoma.
That's Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then after you got married in the oil business, did she come back here to get into bowling alleys with you?
I asked her. She still worked for the bureau out of Washington D.C. But I asked her if we had a family. I didn't want to send them to these places where they take care of kids or something.
Like a daycare or something?
Daycare.
Mhm.
And she says, yes. She says, I like that too. I don't want to send my kids there. And she said, I'll retire. And she did.
Okay, and you
come
came
back.
to Portsmouth
I'll
with?
come to Portsmouth.
Now, after the bowling alley thing, what did you do then? Or how long were you in bowling alleys?
Well, Doug Smith, I don't know where he bought the bowling lanes
Mm-hmm.
when we sold out, and he still runs them.
Is that right?
Yeah, he did.
Did he buy the Classic?
No, the hospital bought that.
Okay.
They won't expand.
I see.
Yeah.
I used to have an office in the bottom of that Classic.
Oh, the Classic?
I guess they tore down the back part, and then in the front part there, they still had an office, didn't they? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Well, they had one upstairs. WPAY used to have their place up there,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't bed, yeah.
Okay.
Now you're an attorney, right?
I am a lawyer, but I wasn't a lawyer then.
Oh,
I was
see.
working for the alcohol program then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I've possibly seen you in and out.
May have, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
But we had nothing to do with the bar, we leased it out down there.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wasn't there somebody killed in that bar one time in
I
a
think they were.
shooting or something like that?
Yeah, I think they were. I don't recall the situation, but they were at one time.
Now, after that, what did you do? You sold out and then what?
Well, let's see, I was building this house I moved in here in '63, but I don't know what I did do after that.
Sort of took it easy?
Probably. Yeah, cause see, I was Navy,
Mm-hmm.
Coast Guard, Merchant Marine.
Is that right? Okay.
You'll see them right up there.
Well, let me ask you about that. You were born in 1923. Where were you when you heard about Pearl Harbor being bombed?
When I heard about it,
You'd be about 18 years old, wouldn't you?
I was 17.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're right. I was in Alaska. Let me get this straight now. I was stationed in Alaska 3 times, and I come down to the States and I was down to the States about a week until they bombed Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I went out to Pearl.
When did you join the service?
39, I believe.
1939. You joined the Navy?
Navy, yes.
And
I was in Caldwell, Idaho.
Caldwell.
Snake River.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What were you doing out there?
In the camps.
Oh, you're talking about a camp. You're talking about a 3C camp, aren't you?
Civilian Conservation Corps.
You were in the Civilian Conservation Corps.
Yeah.
Where's that? So there
Well,
it is.
I was going to say, that guy up there,
Uh-huh.
he was 17 years old. His dad's a school teacher.
Is his name Rucker?
Rucker, Randy Rucker, and this is Rucker, his son. My grandmother was a Rucker from up in Kentucky.
Now, was he the boy that was on Wake Island when the Japanese invaded and took him prisoner?
I released him there on Wake Island.
You released him?
I took him there. Yeah, I transported him there. Yeah, he was around 17. I don't believe he was 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's him right there. You can read that there.
I will read that.
Yeah.
Now, I know a little bit about his story. He was about 16 or 17 years old.
Yes, he was.
And he was a civilian worker
That's right.
on Wake Island.
On Wake Island is for the big money. But he told the gun, same as all the other boys, when they surrendered.
Now, the Japs came, they conquered the island, and they took him prisoner. Is that right?
Yes, 3 years and 8 months.
He was in a prisoner of war camp with the Japanese.
Yeah, he was stabbed, cut. Oh, terrible.
And you're the person who, I mean, he got to Wake Island on your ship.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. On the Kanawha. You see, the Kanawha was built up at Charleston.
Was it?
Yeah. Now, I don't know where this is a very present or a pleasant story to tell you with your daughter here, but it's not too bad. Before all those boys would surrender on Wake Island, they had cued 5 of the cutest little puppies you ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
And William Bendix, you've heard of him, I guess.
Yeah, he was an actor, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
he was an actor.
William Bendix.
And so he wouldn't let them surrender until all the group got together and saw those little puppies. So somebody said, well, how could that be? Said, we only had the mother here. And William Bendix spoke up. He said, don't you remember that tinker in here? We had a mascot.
Mm-hmm.
You know the rest of it.
Okay, and then what happened to the puppies?
Well, they went with them when they surrendered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, William Bendix was an actor, turned out to be an actor after the war, didn't he?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I remember his TV show, The Life of Riley.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, I do. He was an actor, a good one.
Now, you joined the Navy in 1939. How old were you? Well, 39.
I was about 16 or 17.
You're about 16 years old, weren't you?
Yeah, something
Okay.
like that.
Now, you would have to lie about your age, wouldn't you?
I did. You want to hear the other part?
Go ahead.
I got a streetwalker to sign my papers.
You got a prostitute to sign your papers, say that she was your mother.
Yeah. And everything worked out.
And it worked out.
I didn't know how to arrange this.
Well, now wait a minute. Where is this streetwalker? On Caldwell, Idaho? Or
No, she was in Boise.
Boise, Idaho.
Boise, the capital.
She was working Boise.
We were about 25 miles from Boise.
Okay, and you were you were in the Civilian Conservation Corps, and then when you get time off, like maybe the weekends or something, you go into Boise?
Yeah, or Napa was a little closer place called Napa.
Mm-hmm.
Napa, Idaho.
Okay.
And we'd go in there and then come back. And then after that, why they sent me down to Salt Lake City And,
You mean after you got in the Navy?
well, I think they signed me in officially down in Salt Lake City.
In Salt Lake. Let me ask you a question before then. What were you doing in the Civilian Conservation Corps? What was the deal with that?
Well, I was a night guard, one thing, and then the same thing that went with it was I was taking care of the recreation room.
Okay. What did the Civilian Conservation Corps do in Caldwell, Idaho?
Well, we went out fighting forest fires hundreds of miles, and that's a job.
I'll bet it is very hard, isn't it?
Oh, gee, and you never know where you're going to get burned up or what. It's worse than war almost.
Now that was something created by FDR, Roosevelt, wasn't it?
He arranged that,
To
and
help people.
everybody loved that.
Okay.
We made $30 a month. 22 went home. We kept 8.
Oh, okay.
It
So-
should have been the other way around.
You can't have much fun in Boise on $8, can you?
Oh no, but things were cheap. Things were cheap.
Well, now after you went into Boise and had fun, is that where you go drinking?
Well,
Carousing around and stuff like that?
they had a restaurant there that was very good to us. They called them the Canna Fe.
McCanna
Fe.
Fe.
Yeah.
McCanna Fe.
Yeah. And they were good. No, and money didn't go no place.
Okay.
I mean, it did go. I mean,
Went a long ways.
Yeah, it went a long ways. But it was cheap, you know,
Mhm.
everything. So we.
How much was a bottle of beer?
Oh gosh, I didn't drink then.
Okay.
But I don't know, very little.
Well, how much was the prostitute? $1? But did she get any money? Did you give her money for her signature?
I think I gave her $5, I believe.
Okay. Then she signed up, said she was your mother.
Made it official. and I didn't hear nothing from them,
Nobody cared.
except one thing. Of course, it had nothing to do with my mother, because I already had this signed up. But there was a plane that had a wreck, and I thought maybe my mother had written me a letter or something. But no, it didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you thought maybe your letter was on the plane?
Yeah, I
Okay.
could have thought that.
Well, then now you're in the Navy in 1939. Do you remember the date you signed? You signed up?
Yeah, I think I remember. I think it was the 10th of December.
Okay. So now you go down to Salt Lake and they swear you in?
They did, and I stayed at a hotel at their expense and everything before they could take me over at San Diego. So after I was sworn in, I stayed there about a month. And I got to look at Salt Lake and all that stuff.
Pretty different from Boise, wasn't it?
Oh, much.
A
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of Mormons and things like that.
All Mormons.
Yeah, no prostitutes or
Yeah,
none.
Well, you're not supposed to be.
All right.
Yeah, those Mormons. I went to the Mormon Tabernacle and more famous places.
I want to ask you a question now. We got you in the Navy now, but I kind of want to ask.
Well, I had to get to San Diego first.
You had to get what?
I had to go to San Diego from Salt Lake City first.
Okay.
They officially took me in over in San Diego.
How'd you get down to San Diego?
Government. Yeah, train.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of travel by train back then, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. I went over there by train.
Mm-hmm.
And saw a lot of land, a lot of bums on the railroad.
A lot of bums on the railroad.
Oh yeah.
These are people out of the Depression who didn't have work.
Oh yeah, things were tough.
Okay.
They couldn't even have food.
Let me ask you this before we get you to the Navy here. What was your father's name?
My father's name was B.B. Triplett. Now that stood for Bill Basil.
Now he was a judge. Was he the judge?
Catlettsburg.
In Catlettsburg, Kentucky.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
he taught. He was superintendent of schools for about 12 or 15 years at Boyd County.
What was his father's name?
Calvin.
Calvin Triplett.
Calvin Triplett. They come from Cherokee, North Carolina.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, and settled down up in back in Louisiana, Kentucky, something. And now my dad got his education at a place down in just a minute.
Okay.
A place down in Kentucky where you had to work your way through school.
With a job, you mean, and everything?
With a job, yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Are you looking for the name there, or?
yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
Marina. They got a college down in Kentucky.
Called Marina?
Burr. You had to work. And right today, you still have to work.
They still have that kind of program there,
Oh,
huh?
it still is, yeah. I'll tell you, you can get more information too. What should I call you now?
John.
John.
Ah.
Well, I can tell you, he owns that furniture company there across from the post office.
In Catlettsburg, or?
No, here in Portsmouth.
Oh.
His daughter, I'm coming to that, his daughter went to that school down in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
And
Covert? Is it Covert?
Burr.
Burr.
And her daughter, her husband, her father owns that furniture company, but this girl lives right up the street here, and her husband does some work for me. That's
Okay.
how I come in contact with this.
I see.
Yeah,
Well, what was, you know, your grandfather's name was Calvin.
Calvin,
What was his wife's name?
Lavina.
Lavina?
Yeah, a little lady. Her feet were about like that.
That's pretty small.
Yeah, very small. She's the loveliest lady ever was. Now I knew her quite well.
That's your grandmother.
And my grandmother.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know my grandpa very
What
well.
was her maiden name?
Grandma Triplet Blevins.
Blevins?
Blevins.
Okay.
Blevins.
Lavina?
Lovina Blevins.
Blevins.
Yeah.
Okay, now, who was Calvin's father's name? Do you know?
Calvin, her husband.
Uh-huh, your grandfather. Who was your great-grandfather?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Who was Lavina's father's name? Your great-grandfather on her side?
Well, she was 11, and I probably have heard, but I can't come up with it.
Let me ask you this now. What was your mother's name?
My mother was Ethel Flannery.
Flannery. Where was she from?
She's from Kentucky.
Okay.
But her people, her dad and mother moved across the river when it was frozen, furniture, livestock, and everything.
They walked across the river?
Yes, out of Powellsville.
Powellsville.
You know, as you go in Powellsville, there's a big farmhouse there.
Mhm.
They owned that.
Powellsville, right up here on 522?
Yeah, they owned that. My mother.
Know that well.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Now, all right, I'm coming to something else now. I worked for Swarman's for some over there, Swarman Cement over Powellsville.
You did?
Yes.
Well, what
I
was the
drove,
name again?
Swarman's.
Swarman's.
Yeah, I drove a semi truck.
How old were you when you did that?
Oh God, I was up in my 30s, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would go through there at that little place all the time, Powellsville, and I stopped there a couple of times and talked to some people on grocery stores, and they knew my parents.
Is that right?
They knew my parents, knew them well, and they told me a story about my grandpa was dying, and he owed somebody $3, and he said, get into my pocket, and I owe somebody $3, and go pay him.
Is that right? He wanted to pay his
And
debt
yeah,
before he died.
And he died right after that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, now your mother's name was Ethel
Ethel
Flannery.
Flannery.
Okay, what were her parents' names? What was her father's name?
I swear I don't know. Ethel Flannery. They had about nine children.
What was her mother's name? Remember that? Did you know your grandparents on your mother's side?
Yes, I knew them both, but not well. On my mother's side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew them both, but I was just 3 or 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Now, did you have brothers and sisters?
I had 3 sisters and 3 brothers.
Oh, okay.
7 of us.
7 of you, that's a big family, isn't it?
Yeah, in those days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there were 7 of us.
Now, you're married.
I was the youngest.
You were the youngest, and you got married to, what was your wife's name?
Jeannie.
Jeannie?
Jeannie, yeah, Jeannie. That's her over there on the right there.
Oh, I see, okay, maybe we can
She
get a
was,
picture of that later.
Yeah, she could take it down.
Now, her father's name, do you know her father?
Yes, I knew him quite well. He was a good man.
Was he full-blooded Cherokee?
Yeah, I think he's almost full-blood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, his wife was about 7/8. They were both about the same degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember their names?
Pender was his name.
Pender.
Pender Duncan.
Pender Duncan.
Pender Duncan.
Okay. Duncan, I bet, comes from a North Carolina family name, probably.
Could be.
Okay.
Now, can you remember all those questions that were?
Well, I don't know. That's why we're taping this.
You're okay. I was wondering about it. I said, okay. So,
Now,
all right.
what was her mother's name?
My mother-in-law?
Yeah.
Mother?
Mhm.
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Did you get along with her?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were here when my wife passed away.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the
They
whole
both
family.
were?
No, just one on my mother's side.
When did your wife pass away?
She's been gone now about something like 14 years.
Okay. Now, you had 2 children.
Yeah.
Aaron, triplet,
Aaron and Cheryl Renee.
And what's Aaron's full name?
Aaron Reed.
Aaron Reed, triplet.
Yeah.
And then what's your daughter's name?
Cheryl Renee.
Cheryl Renee.
Triplet.
Now, Aaron has no children, does he?
No.
How about Cheryl?
Cheryl has 2 daughters.
Okay.
Now I told Aaron not too long ago, I said, I want you to get married, make a grandpa of me.
What'd Aaron say?
You're kidding me. He says, well, Dad, he said, I tell you, all the kids I went to school with out here at the school, he says they've all been married and divorced.
Yeah.
I said, well, that don't include you.
Not right.
You get the heck out here and make a grandpa of me.
He's young. How old is he?
Oh, Aaron's 41.
Aaron's 41? I didn't know he was that
don't
old.
look it, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's 41.
All right. Okay, I just wanted to get some names from your family, but now we can get back to San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay, now in 1939 you went from Salt Lake City down to San Diego.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, what'd you do there?
Well, I took something like 13 or 14 weeks of training.
Basic training
Basic training.
for the Navy.
Much longer than they do now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they really drill you too.
I'll bet they did.
Yeah.
Basic training's pretty hard then, wasn't it?
Oh, very hard. Yeah, a lot of guys passed out and they couldn't make it. They had to quit. But now, when I got finished, I like to roller skate. So I had my own skates, and I got orders to report to this ship. And I was slow about getting up on the quarter deck. And the officer hollered down, said, come on, Triplet, I said, with those GD skates, you're so dang good, skate up here. So he embarrassed me. I
Okay.
had those skates in my sack here.
Okay, so then that was after training, you reported to your duty ship, right?
Yeah, I got orders to report to the Kanawha.
Was that the name of it, the Kanawha?
Yeah.
Okay.
K-N-A-W-H-A.
And that was built right up here on, you say the Kanawha?
At Charleston.
It was built, what kind of ship was it?
Oil tanker.
An oil tanker?
Yeah. We carried oil and gas, everything. Now we went, after Coral Sea battle, we went 180 days, didn't see a piece of land. We were fueling submarines, man-of-wars, preparing for Midway.
Prepared for the Battle of Midway.
Yes,
So now that would be in 1942, wouldn't it?
that's right.
Now,
4th, 5th, or 6th of June, I believe.
Now, after you got on the Kanawha, where did you go? I mean, you must have gone out to sea.
Well, yeah, we did. We went to Honolulu.
Honolulu,
Hawaii
Pearl Harbor.
Island. Yeah, and then we went to Midway, then Coral Sea.
Now that's before the war started.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you go to the Philippines and?
I went to the Philippines later on another ship.
Okay.
Another ships.
Okay.
We had 450 mules aboard the ship.
450 mules.
And I was telling this to my mother-in-law, and she said, "You mean 451, don't you, Reed?" She called me a jackass.
All right. All right. Yeah, you got to get it right.
Yeah.
And
Oh, she was sharp. She used to teach school. My mother-in-law. This is her up here. That's up
Oh, that's
there.
her right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then after your first sea duty, you came back to where? Pearl Harbor or
Back to
San Diego?
Long Beach.
Long Beach?
Well, it could have been San Diego,
Mm-hmm.
but we hit Long Beach most of the time, or San Pedro, because we pick up our oil and gas there.
Did you stay in touch with your family much during your service?
Quite a bit.
With letters?
Yes, yes.
Okay, a lot of people wrote a lot of letters back then. didn't
Yes,
they?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I did. I learned how to write more.
Where did you learn to write? In the Navy?
Well, I could write. I learned up at PHS.
Oh, PHS.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I had some good teachers up there.
Now, you say, where were you when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
Well, I was in California.
You were in California?
California, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
At San Diego, or?
San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And then when I heard of it, I went right out to Pearl Harbor.
You went to Pearl Harbor then?
Oh yes, yeah.
Now, on the very moment that you heard about that, what did you think?
Well, I know that I know that it was coming. We knew that was coming. It was no secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we heard every place.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that. We hide a lot of stuff from our government.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's awful. It's gross.
Now, but then you were probably ordered to report to your ship, and then you went to Pearl Harbor.
Oh yes, definitely.
So when you were sailing into Pearl Harbor here, you saw all the destruction.
Oh gosh. And fortunately, we had 4 aircraft carriers out at sea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we used to rendezvous from Pearl Harbor to Hilo. That's a big island on Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
We would rendezvous with them and fuel them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We fueled the Arizona many times.
Did you?
Oh yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And we do a good job of fueling. They send us over ice cream.
Oh, they would?
Yes. And that was a treat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your job on the Kanawha?
Well, I was a deckhand to begin with, and I didn't like the deckhand.
What's a deckhand do?
Well, he's a boss man, getting a ship in shape and repairs and things like that. So anyhow, I put in, I liked the commissary.
Okay.
And I put in to be a strike for a cook,
Mm-hmm.
and I was approved of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I went,
You went down to the galley.
to the galley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is that what your Navy job was throughout your Navy?
Yeah, I become chief steward.
Okay.
Chief steward.
To what, the enlisted men or the?
Well, that's
Did
the
that
top
include
grade.
that include officers too?
Well, yeah, it's an enlisted man's ranking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after you, when you were discharged from the Navy, what was your rank?
I was chief cook, I think.
Chief steward,
Yeah.
chief cook?
Chief cook,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, now after you sail into Pearl Harbor there and you see all the destruction around, what did you think when you saw that?
Oh, well, you just couldn't think straight in a way, but you just thought, oh my God, you look at all the people that was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, what, 2,000 or 3,000, something like it?
Right.
Oh, yeah, gee. And those ships were, well, they called it Battleship Row, where all those battleships were.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Chicago was over in another area, capsized.
Did you see the Oklahoma? The Oklahoma was
Definitely, yeah.
capsized too.
Yeah,
wasn't
she
it?
was there in that battleship role.
Mhm.
The Oklahoma was.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of those ships, they repaired and
Mhm.
sent them back to duty.
How long were you in Pearl Harbor then after you got in that first time, after the war had started?
Well, we stayed sometimes 2 or 3 weeks. We stayed long enough for our captain to, no, that was, sometimes he would take Fords, Chevrolets, things into Pearl and sell them at big money.
He would.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he
Wasn't
was
allowed to
captain.
do that.
No, he's the captain. He can do what he wants and sell those things for big money.
Let me get this straight now. He would, tell me if I'm wrong, he would buy these in San Diego, put them on the ship, and take them over to Hawaii and
Yeah.
sell them?
Yeah.
This is all for personal gain?
Yes, and we'd have to strap them down and put cutter over them so they wouldn't get wet and all that.
Oh, you had to strap down the cars and...
Yeah, and our captain hadn't been too awfully long ago. He was going back to his ship there in Long Beach, and he liked to drink. Oh, he liked to drink so badly. And he ran off the docks and drowned himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. God bless him, he liked that.
Did he run off the docks in one of those new
No.
Fords so that he was
Well,
black marketing over to Pearl?
so you see, it goes on anywhere.
It goes on anywhere, yeah. Okay.
But he drowned right now.
Yeah, he's drowned right now. And so then you got into Pearl Harbor and you saw all the destruction. And then where did you go? The war's on. Let me ask you this. Did you hear Franklin Roosevelt's declaration of war?
I did.
Did you hear that on the radio?
I think it was, yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. You actually heard him say a date that will live in infamy?
Every day, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and he went in for his 4th term.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, he was some president.
Did you like him?
Yeah, pretty much so.
Did you ever see him?
I don't, personally, I saw Mrs. Roosevelt.
Did you?
Yeah, she was, she came over in Australia. I was in an army hospital over in Australia. We didn't have any facilities over at that time, so I come down with malaria, and they sent me to army hospital, 118th General.
Mm-hmm.
118th.
That was in, where was that?
That was 20 miles out of Sydney,
Okay.
Herne Bay.
Herne Bay.
And
She came through?
she came through, making a round, and I was, like I said, I was in the army hospital, and I'm sorry today, one thing that happened there, I was deathly sick, you know, and all, and the doctors and the nurses were around, and they wanted to take my picture,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't let them.
With Eleanor Roosevelt?
Oh, no.
Just
no,
take your picture?
Just take my picture. I was just out of my mind, you know, sick. And I couldn't see it, and I didn't let him.
Mhm.
And I wish the heck I had him.
Okay.
I could have had it today.
Yeah, been a good picture. With
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Well, you were in the Battle of Coral Sea?
Yes.
Okay. Now, your ship had armament, it had guns, didn't it?
We was the heaviest, how do you want to say it, fighting ship it was.
For oil tankers?
For oil tankers.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't have all that armor and ammunition stuff.
Now,
Dangerous.
in the Battle of the Coral Sea, was your ship attacked?
Oh, gosh, yeah. We were attacked most every place we went. But I'm glad you brought that up. We had to sink the Lexington.
You had to sink it?
Yeah, ourselves.
Uh-huh.
We,
That was a big aircraft carrier.
Oh, aircraft carrier, yeah. But she was so heavily damaged, we didn't want the Japs to capture her.
Okay.
So I don't say that I did, but we were there, and she was so heavily damaged, we had to sink her to get so the Japs wouldn't get a hold
Now,
of her.
that was in the Battle of the Coral Sea,
Coral
wasn't it?
Sea,
The
yeah.
Lexington went down there.
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah.
We
Now,
saw her ourselves.
that was after It stayed afloat for a while, didn't it?
Very shortly, yes.
Mhm.
Long enough that we could sink her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
Because they were hot actors, but that was more or less a fly plane
Mhm.
battle there. More
Yeah,
or
it was,
less.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did your ship fire guns at the Lexington, or?
No, we didn't. I don't recall doing that. But
Okay.
we had.
You saw it happen?
Oh yes, I was
Okay.
right there. Yeah.
Did you actually see that big ship go under?
Go under. She took a plunge.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Well, then after that, the Coral Sea, you ended up Midway.
Well, that's when we went 180 days. Didn't see a piece of land. As I said, yeah, we from Coral Sea,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were fueling submarines and man-of-wars.
Mm-hmm.
Just about we went day and night.
Well, how did you get your fuel?
A good question. Tankers, merchant tankers,
Oh.
brought us our fuel.
Uh-huh.
Now, merchant tankers couldn't belly up against a fighting ship.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't belly up again, but they could transfer it to us, which they did.
I see.
Now, I've got a niece up in Columbus. She has a friend whom I knew that he used to bring us fuel out
Is that right?
in the merchant marine
Mm-hmm.
and transfer it to us.
He was on one of those ships.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a friend of my niece up there.
Did you ever, you say your ship was attacked by the Japanese planes at
48 planes.
48 planes?
Admiral Yamamoto. I had a part of taking him out. He's the one bombed Pearl.
Yeah, he was in charge of that, wasn't he?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yamamoto.
Yeah, Yamamoto.
Now, we intercepted him and killed him. He was in a plane. You say you were a part of that?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. There were 3 planes. No, I wasn't one of them, but what we did, we fueled him, those 3 planes,
Uh-huh.
to go after him.
Okay.
And I know the guy, one of them, personally. He was governor twice of South Dakota.
Yes, his name was, starts with an F. Fossey?
You're getting close.
Mhm, that's something like that.
I got it written down over there,
Okay.
because I can't remember sometimes.
Mhm.
False.
I think I'm right.
Yeah,
but
I think
something
you're
like
right.
that.
False. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're right.
You know him?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's 86 now.
Oh, is that right?
86.
Uh-huh.
And I saw him not too long ago. He made a little speech.
Mm-hmm.
And he was something.
I'll bet.
He got, I think, 27 planes over there.
He was an ace, wasn't he?
Ace,
He
oh,
shot
yeah.
down. Mhm.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And now after the Coral Sea, you went 180 days. You didn't see sight of land or anything.
No, we were fueling man-of-wars and submarines.
When did you end up then in Midway? Now I'm trying to think when that would
Well,
be.
we was en route to them then.
Uh-huh.
Well, Midway was 4th, 5th, and 6th of June.
June 1942.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Yamamoto got the Kanawha April the 7th, 43.
Okay.
48 planes.
48 planes came at you.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then I was injured twice aboard the ship.
Were you wounded or?
Oh, I was wounded, yeah. I was knocked out twice and my eyes damaged. That's why I wear these. And then when we abandoned ship, they machine gunned us while we was in the water. And I took a slug here in this leg.
Mhm.
And it's bothered me yet today.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Now your ship was sunk?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. The old Kanawha. But they had a new ship, the new Kanawha. I went to the new Kanawha, the commissioning of it, up in Newport News.
When?
The see, this is what, 81, 91, 2001, I get it, man. Well, it's been about 3 years back now.
Is that right?
The new ship. And I sat by the captain. Now they had 3 entrees. You could have had one of those or all 3 of them.
You did all 3, I bet.
No, no, not with dessert. Had dessert.
Oh,
but
not
I'm
with
just saying, you could have done that.
All right.
It was there for you. But it was excellent.
Now, did you see any of your old shipmates?
Oh yes.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw a lot of them.
Okay.
That was still surviving.
Now, you were in the Battle of the Midway?
Oh yes.
Did you get a battle star for that?
Well, I got a couple stars.
How many stars do you have?
Well, I've got 2 stars
For?
for battles.
Mm-hmm.
But I should have more than that. I've applied for it.
Maybe you ought to tell Ted Strickland about that.
Well, he knows about it.
Okay.
Yes, I did. This guy here, he's over in Washington, D.C. now. That's Ted's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a child now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I told him, I told him all this. He wanted to know a lot about it. Yeah.
Now, after the Battle of Midway, we invaded Guadalcanal, didn't we?
We did.
Were you a part of that?
Oh yes. I was there in Guadalcanal and then Tulagi.
The Tulagi also?
Tulagi.
Yeah. Now Guadalcanal was be about August of '92, wasn't it?
August
I mean
7th.
42.
Uh,
August 42.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's yeah, around 42.
And what did your ship?
August the 7th.
Okay, what did you do at the Battle of Guadalcanal? In the let's see, that'd be the Salvo Island and
Yeah, where we lost 3 cruisers that one night.
yeah, they really hit us pretty hard there.
Oh, it hit us hard. That was our fault.
Mm-hmm.
That was our fault. But see, we took Henderson Field
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 different times.
So we had to keep taking it back and forth, didn't he? That was the airfield there on Guadalcanal. wasn't it?
That's right. And we built it.
That was mostly a marine operation, wasn't it?
It was.
Marines.
But wherever you are and you're in battle, you can get in there. You better do it.
Okay, it doesn't matter if you're a marine or whatever.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you ever on Guadalcanal?
Oh yes.
When were you on it?
Well, at different times.
During the battle?
Not during the battle, but I was on it later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, of course, Tulagi, when we had to abandon ship, we were picked up and went to Tulagi.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy coming out, he was coming out to pick up survivors, which I was one of them. And of course, I looked at him, and I used to work at Smith's drugstore there on the Esplanade.
Mm-hmm.
And I would wait on him.
No kidding.
And his prospective wife.
And this is the guy that's rescuing
He
you.
rescued me, and I said, man, I know you. And of course I got all off and injured and this and that and all. And he said, well, I don't know you. And he left me, and he went and got 5 gallons of kerosene. And he come back and he said, here, use this.
That's to get the oil off of it.
Get the oil off, and it's dangerous to the injuries that you got. I was hit 3 times in the head. And he said, I'll see you in a little bit. So he left me, and then he come back, and he brought me clothes, and gave me some money. And he said, yes, I guess I do know you. I said, you got to know me.
Yeah.
Because he had a photographer studio there on the Esplanade.
What was his name?
Jordan.
Jordan.
Chet Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Chet Jordan. I got it written down. I got to write this stuff down.
You sold him Cokes, huh?
I did, and his wife, and they ate these Sundays.
Isn't that amazing? There you are out in the South Pacific, and you just got sunk, and the guy that rescues you is somebody that you sold Coke to at Smith's
Yeah, it's drugstore.
Drugstore.
It's unbelievable.
Mhm.
Then I run into another guy from Portsmouth. He was working the elevators on the Lorraine.
On the where?
Of the Lorraine. That's a luxury liner.
Oh, the Lorraine.
Lorraine, L-U-R-L-I-N-E, yeah. Now that's the one that Clark Gable, Meredith Spreckles heirs.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on there,
Okay.
going to Honolulu.
And he worked those elevators, huh?
He worked the elevator. In those days, you had to work them hand almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you met him during the war?
Yeah, I noticed, we got talking, he was working the elevator, and he told me he's from Portsmouth.
Were you on that ship?
No, not to
Okay.
study.
Okay.
No, I was on it, yeah. I was on it, I went to, I think it was Australia, the railroad. I went to Australia.
Was that during the war or after?
Yeah, it was during the war.
Must have been a troop ship then.
It was a troop ship.
Well, now, you get sunk, and when was the date that you were sunk?
It was April the 7th of 43.
April the 7th, 43.
43.
Okay. What were you doing? I mean, were you sunk by a submarine or planes?
48 planes.
48 planes is
Yeah.
what it did.
Well, I was coming across the mess deck. Coming across the mess deck.
Walking or running?
Well, I was just going normally until I was on the starboard side. That's the right side. And I heard somebody holler, "Help!
Help.
Help!" So I did get in high gear then.
Why was he yelling help?
I'm coming. This is touching. I can't hardly go over all this. I was on the starboard side, and there lay a chief whom I knew very well was killed, his eyes staring at me. But he wasn't the one hollering help. He probably did it at one time, but he's not the one I heard. The guy that was hollering help was about in the middle of the ship to the next, and a little engineer from the engine room. His name was Paul Allfingers. He was the one hollering help, help. And I went over to help him. I grabbed him by each wrist. And he just gave way. Went back down where he come from. And I'm standing there with 2 hands full of flesh. And he's gone. All fingers. He used to, you know, I told you I was in the galley. He used to come around and help me crack eggs. That's pretty touching, you know. An awful nice guy, awful nice guy.
Had he been burned or shot?
Oh, he was scorched to death. Yeah, he scorched to death. Yeah, he just gave way and went back down.
His arms came off in your hands.
Well, his hands come off on me. Yeah, when I had a hold of it. Yeah, I was sitting there. So, and then there's a first class electrician mate come walking up there where he had come out of this engine room. But this guy didn't come out of the engine room. He come up there and he was a tall guy. He was an engineer in a way, but he had his clothes gone, but he had a life jacket on. His testicles was gone and everything. And pretty soon he just gave way and fell back to the deck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought he died then, but he did not. We buried him on Tulagi.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, another guy come from the engine room. His name was, he was a wrestler and a boxer, a friend of mine. And he was all burned up in his hair and bad, you know. So I went over to help him. I don't know what I would have done. And he was a powerful guy. And he just took his right hand and knocked me back about 15, 20 feet. And went running up the port side of the ship. He went in the forecastle, what they call a forecastle, that little section of the bow of the ship. I followed him clear up there, but he wouldn't have no part of me. Like I said, back there, he shoved me away. And I go down, he's from Oklahoma, and I go to Oklahoma and visit him every once in a while. But here come I could touch, here come a zero, and he dropped a bomb. I could touch it with his hand right here, finger.
The bomb?
The bomb. And that's where one of the places that I got knocked out. And that bomb went down, and then it didn't touch the ship. Like I said, I could touch it with my finger, but it went down, and it come back up and knocked the bow of the ship off. Knocked the bow of the ship off.
That's what sunk it pretty much, was that it?
That was part of it. No, the big hits was on the bow too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they knocked the bow off. Yeah.
Were you thrown into the water after?
No, we abandoned ship.
Okay, you jumped in.
Yeah, I jumped in. I took a brand new pair of shoes and put them there like that and kissed goodbye, the new shoes, and I dove in. But before I dove in...
These shoes, you had a new pair of shoes on,
yeah,
and you took them off?
I took them off and laid them down there side by side.
And kissed them goodbye?
Kissed them goodbye.
Did you really kiss them?
Well, I think so. I was glad to get all the way from that. The ship was burning all.
Oh, okay.
And oil and gas and everything. But I had $500 in my locker on the mess deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I just come across the mess deck.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't going back to retrieve that $500.
You didn't go back and get the...
No way.
$500 of your American money's at the bottom of the sea right now.
Exactly. and then probably another 500 too. I don't know where you heard of Jack Powell or not. Ed Powell was pretty much a gambler around Portsmouth. But his son come up to me at the sunset one night, and he owed me $500. And he said, he come up and he said, Reed, he says, I got your money here, but I want to know if I could wait till next month to pay you. And I said, well, yeah, I guess, Jack, if you don't want to pay it, I don't need it as far as that's concerned. But he said, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to have it until next month. He went out to sea, and you know what he did?
I have a feeling.
He died. And they buried him there at sea.
They buried him at sea.
And the $500 with it.
When was that?
Well, it's been several years back. Several years.
You just had bad luck with whenever it's $500.
$500. But he was honest enough to come up and said, if you don't need it, he knew I could get it.
This was after the war then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had nothing to do with the war.
Yeah.
If they had him, I wouldn't let him have him.
Okay. Well, now you're in the water, and how long were you in the water there? You had on a life jacket?
No.
You didn't?
No, where I was to get my life jacket, a bomb had disintegrated everything.
Okay. You jumped in without a jacket?
Oh, definitely.
You had on a shirt, and your pants, and
I think
no shoes?
I don't think I had a shirt on. I don't know if I recall that. But there was we got one boat off and one life raft off. That's all we got off. And when I got off, it was filled. But I was close enough to it, I could cling to it, you know.
When you jumped in, how far is the drop?
Not too,
30 feet?
about that,
Mhm.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's far enough.
Far enough. And then you made it over to the raft or the boat?
I hold on to the boat.
Okay.
Now, I knew all the guys in there almost.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they had to take off, and then later this guy come along and picked me.
Was it motorized, the launch, the boat?
I don't think so.
Okay, and then what do you mean they took off?
Well, I mean, they head for Tulagi.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then how long were you in the water?
Oh, I was in there, I think something like, it was around 18 hours, I believe.
Without
like
without a life vest?
Yes, yeah.
And
I was a good swimmer.
you must have been very strong then.
So, oh, I was. Yes, you made a good point there. In my younger days, I was still powerful. I could get up on a raft. I could get up on there and sit for a while, which I did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then about 18 hours, did you see your ship sink? Your ship sink then?
No, they towed it off.
Oh, they did. It did not sink.
So,
It was just totally...
They towed it off, and then it did sink.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that's when my friend and I served candy or
Okay.
ice cream and stuff, and his girl
Came and rescued.
came and rescued. Of course, he was stationed out there.
Now, your ship was sunk in, was it sunk in a particular battle? The battle of what?
Well, it was 48 planes, and they knew we were there,
Mhm.
and they were jet planes,
Mhm.
and there was no problem. We were in a battle with this 48 planes.
Does the battle have like the battle for Tulagi or the battle or just involving your ship?
No, Tulagi was already passed,
Okay.
but those three cruisers coming down the slot, of course, they left, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see the Brooklyn in the Battle of Guadalcanal? Remember the Brooklyn?
Yeah, I remember the Brooklyn, but I don't remember that. I don't know where it is. But there was a Vincent, Astoria,
Yeah, the Astoria, the Vincent.
and Australian cruiser.
Mhm.
I can remember those.
After you are rescued and you're on land there, where did you go and what did you do after that?
Well, I went to another hospital, not far from there, and they put me in there, and then from there we went to Sydney. So we went to Sydney, Australia.
Oh, okay.
I went to Sydney.
Is that when Eleanor Roosevelt came through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then went to Sydney, and then I went out to, they sent me out to an army hospital
Mm-hmm.
at Herne Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, were you ever back in combat after that? Did you go back to sea, go back to duty?
Well, yeah, we had, on this one ship, we had 450 mules. That's when my mother-in-law said,
Oh, 451 is what it should have been.
Yeah.
What was the name of that ship?
It was, the Nevada.
Nevadan.
Yeah, it's a Russian ship.
It was a Russian ship.
Yeah, the Nevadan, yeah. Nevadan, but it was our ship.
But it was an American crew and
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was a transport ship, was that what it was?
I believe it was.
Okay.
Transport, yeah.
Where'd you pick up the Nevadan?
Nevadan, I picked it up at Long Beach.
Okay, so from Australia, they sent you back to California.
Yeah, from the Army hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How'd you get back? On a ship or did you fly?
No, I went back on the,
Another ship?
the West Point.
That was the name of the ship?
Yes, the West Point. It'll take you a little while.
That's all right.
Well,
I think we got maybe another 30 minutes here. That's a 2-hour tape, believe it or not.
well, I can stop there.
We've got a long story here.
Yeah. Oh,
Now-
yes, West Point. It used to be the America.
Okay. Now, so you pick up the Nevadan there in California, you go back to duty, to sea duty?
Went back to those 450 mules.
Okay. Where'd you take those mules?
Well, we took part of them to
Leyte?
Leyte, the
That's in the Philippines.
Philippines.
Had the Battle of Leyte Gulf been over then?
I think it had been. It was in process, or was.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the 20th of October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 44.
1944.
Yeah. Takes me a little while, but
We're doing all right. Were you at Okinawa and Iwo Jima?
No, and I'm glad I wasn't, but I tell you what, we thought we was going there, but we went up to Iran.
You went to Iran?
Iran, and I was...
That's in the other direction.
Yes, I know, and I was elated. I didn't want to go to Japan.
Okay.
I would have gone.
Of course.
If I wouldn't...
Did you go to Iwo Jima?
No.
Okay. Now, why did you go to Iran? Did they need mules too or something, or what?
No, we got on another tanker, and we hauled oil out of Iran.
Oh, okay. Did you leave the Nevadan?
Yes, yeah.
You're still in the Navy though, aren't you?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And they sent you to Iran to get oil?
Yeah, we hauled oil out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And now they were our allies then,
Yeah.
but very little. They
Not
weren't
much
too
of an
strong.
ally.
No, not too strong. We couldn't be out on our own. If we did, they'd slip up behind you and knife you and then dispose of you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have shore duty in Iran?
No, I was in and out.
Okay. Okay.
But another thing about, I couldn't understand about Saddam there, looks like he would have sunk one of those tankers. They're so big, he could have blocked that Arabian deal there.
You're talking about the Persian Gulf War?
Persian Gulf.
He could have sunk one of the tankers and blocked the straits there, couldn't he?
Yeah, but he chose to burn the oil well.
Yeah. He wasn't a very good general, was he?
No, he was something else.
Well,
he still is. He's in power,
He's
isn't he?
something else. He's still there.
He's in power.
Now, you left Iran, and where did you go then?
Well, we went
Back
to
to
Australia, I think, again.
Okay, to deliver oil.
We delivered oil, and then we went to a little place out in the southern end of India, hauling oil to them, where they were fighting all the time.
Ceylon? Was it named Ceylon?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Little island there.
A little island, that's all it was,
Okay.
it's Ceylon.
Now, and let me ask you this. Now, you're doing oil duty, tanker service at the end of the war, aren't you?
Yeah, I was on tankers most of the time.
Where were you when you heard about the atomic bomb?
I heard some things about our guys. He's from Missouri. What's the name of the
Truman.
president? Truman. I heard him say that we're going to use it, which I think was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It saved a lot of lives.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Did you ever go to Japan after that?
No.
Okay. Did you go to China?
Well, yeah, I've been to China several times.
Was that when you were in the Navy?
Sometime it was, But just recently, about 5 years ago, I was over to China.
Why?
Well, I wanted to walk the wall, and I
The
did.
Great Wall?
The Great Wall.
You wanted to walk, and you did?
I did, and then it's been a little longer than that, but anyhow, the guy who took care of our passports and everything, he was from Korea. He was ambassador to Korea, and he had his mother with him, and wife, and a couple aunts. Now, going across Tinian Square there, yeah, his mother hit one of those cobblestones and fell, and I had the duty of picking her up, but it didn't hurt her very bad, and I still get mail from them guys.
Was that right?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Oh gosh.
Mondale?
No, Mondale, no, I don't think.
I'm trying to think what the ambassador to Korea was. I'm trying to think of his
Could
name.
have been Mondale.
Yeah, maybe it was. Well, anyway,
But they were nice.
you walked on the Great Wall then, huh?
I did, and then that's when they were killing the Japs. The Chinese were killing all these students.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, it's been about 9 years ago, I'd say now. But they were just murdering them.
Were you in Peking when that happened?
Peking, I was in, no, I went.
You were on the Great Wall.
Yeah, but was it Peking? No, it was another town.
Beijing?
Beijing.
Yeah, I'm not Beijing.
Beijing,
Peking's the old name.
yeah,
Beijing.
that's over on the ocean side. Peking, but no, it's Beijing. Beijing, I stayed all night. I stayed there, and we got nightclubs and things over here, and what am I trying to say? Motels. Just one. It's an American motel.
In Beijing.
In Beijing, and they had music in the hall and place, real good music.
Now, while you were there in Beijing, in the motel, they were shooting the students in Tiananmen Square?
Well, when I was there, I don't know where I was there right at that point in Beijing, but when I was there, yeah, I was there and stayed at Beijing. They won't allow you to have ice water or ice cubes, but they were real good people. This there used to be a nightclub, or not a nightclub, but a motel down here named after the one I stayed in. But no, that was before I was there, I think.
Okay.
But before I went on the wall, but it could have been either way. I forget.
Okay. Let me ask you this question now. You remember what you were doing when you heard that the war was over with Japan?
The war was over. I was elated. I know that.
Where were you? Were you on the ship in the middle of the sea?
No, I think I was in New York City.
Okay, how'd you end up there?
Well, I had a brother that had to go over there, and I went with him.
Okay. Now, that's when you heard in 1945 that the war with Japan had ended.
Yeah, because I remember I like Chinese food, and you couldn't move an inch over there in New York then. And my brother got uneasy or screaming at me, "You want Chinese food and we can't even move?" I said, well, he was my oldest brother. I said, I'd like to have some. So he wouldn't go for it.
Was there a celebration in the street?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Our boys were kissing all the girls. I didn't, but
Why not?
Well, I could have.
Why
well,
not?
I was with my brother.
Oh yeah. He would have told mom or something.
Yeah.
And now you were a single man in the Navy, weren't you?
I was.
Okay. What does a
I didn't
single
want to get married till after I got out and free.
What does a single sailor do when he's on liberty?
Well, you go to where they say whether you drink or not. I didn't drink, but you go to these nightclubs or dance halls.
A lot of women there.
Yeah, I danced with Rita Hayworth.
Did you?
Yeah, And I liked Rita. I would have married her.
You would have married her, I
Yeah.
bet. Well, did you ask her?
No, I didn't. But she would have.
She was a movie star in the 40s and the 50s, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Mhm.
She
Beautiful woman.
Oh, beautiful. She had gorgeous hair.
Mhm. Well, how'd you come to dance with her?
Well, I asked her.
Okay.
She,
Did you ask her anything else?
No.
You're a sailor, why?
Yeah, but I was going to be a gentleman. You know,
Oh, okay.
a gentleman.
Now, was that in San Diego?
No, that was in New York. I
Oh, she was
think.
in New York
Yeah,
at the
she
time?
was in New York then. And I think
You
then.
had your uniform on when you danced with her?
Yes. And then she was married. I think she was married then.
Oh, those movie stars don't care.
No. But I try to respect her, you know.
Of course. And then everybody's very excited when the war was over.
Oh, gosh.
Now, where were you when the war in Europe? The war in Europe ended before the war with Japan.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, because a lot of the boys in Europe, they sent out to the
The Pacific.
Pacific, didn't
Pacific.
they? Yeah, we needed them out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And another thing, I think this famous general we had, he was one of my favorites. I think they had him killed.
Who?
America.
Well, I mean, what general?
Patton.
Oh, Patton. Yeah.
Patton.
No, he was in a Jeep accident.
I know, but wasn't that
Or car
serious.
accident,
Yeah, that Jeep.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't that serious.
Mhm.
Lord, I could
You think the government had him killed?
I do. I think Eisenhower,
Why? Jealousy?
well, could have been, but I think Eisenhower and another one.
Mm-hmm.
When I stayed there, not far from where that wreck was.
You were in Europe?
Yeah, I was in that little village.
When were you in Europe?
Well, I don't remember, but I know that that's where I stood on Patton's grave,
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I took her with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cheryl.
Okay.
Yeah, I took her with me. But I forget what that little place was we stayed.
It's a place in Germany, wasn't it? Or Belgium, or...
Well, I think
maybe it was Germany.
I
forgot.
believe it was Germany. Well, it could have been Belgium. I think that's where he was, in the cemetery.
Now you spent the war in the South Pacific, in the Pacific, didn't you?
Yes.
And then you must have gone to Europe after the war was over, sometime.
Well, it was way a long time after.
That was just for a trip, vacation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just a vacation. Go someplace different. I went to Iceland and over that way, and to England, and I went out to where the Windsor stayed,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the flag up that they were in residence at
They were
that
home,
day.
huh? The
Yeah,
Queen
they
there.
were home.
Okay.
But I stayed there across from Windsor.
Mm-hmm. Windsor Castle?
Castle Windsor. Well, no, it was an independent. Windsor Castle was across the street.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I stayed there. But I was sorry there too. I should have gone to a little place only a couple 100 miles further.
You've been all over the world.
Well, yeah, in South America. I've been to 13 states in South America, and I think there's 23 altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been everywhere, most everywhere.
Why do you go to these places?
I want to go to see something.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I went to Vietnam.
You been to Vietnam?
Yes, I stayed at Banji, I stayed over in Taiwan,
Bangkok.
Bangkok,
Mm-hmm.
but I went over into Vietnam, the Golden Triangle.
The Golden Triangle.
I went there.
You see where all that heroin was.
Exactly, that's why I went there. They wasn't going to tell me something, and I didn't see it.
Did you see it?
Oh, yes.
Did you?
3 little countries were manufacturing
Okay.
like mad. Sent it back to us, and I think the government's right with them.
When you were in Vietnam, when was that?
Just recently? Well,
When's the last time you were there?
I was at China. I went to China, then come on up to Korea and Taiwan, those places. Then I went on, I stayed there in Taiwan, went on over to Vietnam.
How'd the Vietnamese treat you?
Pretty good. I didn't have no problem with it.
Of all these places you've been, which do you like the most?
Australia. Or
Australia.
New Zealand.
New Zealand? New Zealand.
Yeah.
They know how to have a good time, huh?
Oh, well, yeah, they're so much like us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now, of all these places you've been, which you dislike the most?
Dislike.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, it isn't China no more. It used to, we had a good relation with China.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I had an option if I wanted to, I chose China, because we had a good relation then, but no, they wouldn't let me go. So that killed that.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to, we had a good relation with
Mhm.
China.
Okay.
But I don't know, I'd have to think.
Sounds like you've had something good to say about all these places you've been to.
Yeah, and I like Milwaukee.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, I got to go to the VA the 10th, and this guy's doctor, he's from Milwaukee.
Oh.
And Milwaukee, I was stationed at Great Lakes.
There's something else I wanted to ask you before we get out of here. After the Navy, you were in the Merchant Marine.
I was Coast Guard Merchant Marine.
Did you go in the Coast Guard after the Navy?
Yes.
Okay, how long were you in the Coast Guard?
About a year and a half, something like that.
What did you go, why did you go in the Coast Guard?
Well, I went to their headquarters, and they chose me, and said I could come. And then, what was the other, Merchant Marine?
Mm-hmm.
I liked that, because they made excellent money, you know.
When you were in the Coast Guard, what did you do?
The Coast Guard, I was a deckhand.
A deckhand?
Yeah.
Where was your, of course that would be a stateside duty, wouldn't it?
No.
Where was it?
No,
Where
it's
were you?
seagoing.
Was it seagoing?
You think it's, called it Coast Guard? No, they go deep sea.
Where did you go?
Oh gosh. Seemed like it was back to Australia, I think. I've gone to many places. If I don't write them down, you know.
Right.
Yeah. But,
Have you kept a diary?
no.
Well, you should have.
Well, I lost it. I did have one. I
Oh.
lost it. Yeah, I should have. But
Where
yeah.
were you when you lost it? In the sea there when your ship was sunk?
Well, when it was good in, I wasn't going back for fear of the bombs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I lost it all. I lost that $500, like I said. I wasn't about to go back.
Now, you were in the Coast Guard for about a year and a half?
About a year.
When
and a
did
half.
you get out? When were you discharged from the Coast Guard?
Well, then I went into the Merchant Marine, or maybe vice versa. I don't recall. Anyhow, when did I get discharged? I got discharged in Long Beach. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. When were you discharged from the Navy?
I'm not.
You're not?
No, I got a lifetime pass. Yeah.
When were you discharged from active duty?
Well, active duty was about, see, I was stationed up at Fort Columbus, and I went to free law at Ohio State while I was stationed up there, and I guess it was 66, 46 or 7, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you went into the Coast Guard?
I went to the Coast Guard, and I said they make fabulous money. But then we also had a Navy guarding them, you know, while they make this big money.
Oh, yeah? Well, then, how long were you in the Merchant Marine?
About 2 years.
What did you do in the Merchant Marine?
I was running the galley.
Where
I
did
was
you,
chief cook.
what did you do? I mean, you were the cook in the Merchant Marine. What did your ship do? Deliver the freight and...
Well, we delivered the stuff. I think we had a load of mules on us.
More mules.
More mules. We gathered up all the mules from Virginia and Missouri, you name it, and we gathered all the mules up.
And take
We
them?
wasn't the only mule ship.
Oh, the mule ship.
Yeah.
Where would you take these mules?
Well, if I remember right, the Philippines twice or three times.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we took some to, what's that name, that country? You go to India, then you go over to Himalayas.
Tibet?
Tibet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then there.
Have you been to Tibet?
Oh yes. Yeah.
You have?
Oh, yeah, and we've got a lot of planes laying over there in the Himalayas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a lot of our planes couldn't get over to Tibet.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't climb.
Couldn't climb that high over the
Couldn't
Himalayas?
climb that high, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been to India?
Oh yes, Calcutta. And we took, I think, some mules over there and picked up some stuff there.
You have a Purple Heart, don't you, from being wounded?
I have, you can see it there. I have.
Where is that?
It's up there on the.
I don't see the Purple Heart.
Oh.
Yeah, I do, right there. There's a plaque.
I've got two of them, but I should have three.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got in with our senator here and told him about it. When I got off the ship, I got almost killed then.
The jet planes strafed you while you were in the water.
They repeatedly machine gunned us.
And did they kill any of our people? I imagine they did.
Oh, I think they did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they repeatedly kept the machine gun diving on us.
What do you think?
Have a chance.
What do you think about the Japanese now?
Well, I don't just like them like I used to, because I tell you, they make a hell of an automobile.
Yeah, but you make a good car. What kind of car do you drive? It's not a Toyota.
Well, I drive that Lincoln out there, and I got a Cadillac there.
Okay.
And some girl just stole that damn Cadillac and wrecked it.
Stole your Cadillac?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago or so. And her mother lives right across the alley there.
What's her name?
Their names are Evans.
I just wonder if I represented her. So.
Evans, well, he could have. But yeah, she stole. Now, I was out in the yard there working, and this guy, her husband, comes over and says, Reed, my wife stole your Cadillac.
Oh, that's
I said, you're a pretty honest guy.
Yeah.
So I, you know.
Did you press charges?
Well, no, the policeman comes to work out here at 4 o'clock.
Oh.
There's 3 of them comes out here. And he asked me, he said, you going to press charges, Reed? I said, no, I'm not. I said, she's got 3 little kids, and I'm not going to press no charges.
Maybe she needed to go to the store or something. Why did she steal the Cadillac?
Well, I don't know. Because she thought she'd drive it, I guess.
Did she bring it back?
No. I had to go out. The officer knocked on the door here, and I had to go out and get it. You get a record, bring it, put it in there.
You got it, though.
I got it, yeah, I got it. It was damaged, but not too bad. But this officer, I've had some bad luck, but this officer asked me, he said, you going to have her indicted? I said, no. She's got 3 little kids. And he said, well, I'll write it off, close it out. And he says, but I still want to investigate your ring.
Your what?
My ring.
Your ring?
I had a valuable ring.
In the car?
No, I had it laying on the kitchen table, I think.
Uh-oh.
And some lady, I had to clean the house, I think she took it. But anyhow, he said, I want to investigate that. I said, what do you think I got it? I said, you put that back on my, not him, I didn't include him. I said, whoever put that back on my finger, I'm going to give him $1,000. Because I've had it all over the world.
Have you?
Oh, God. I've had it everywhere.
They stole your ring.
And can you imagine it being gone? Yeah.
That hurts, doesn't it?
Oh, does it? So I guess you saw all my hats.
Well, I was going to get a picture of that, but I just wonder, is there, I thought maybe I'd get a picture of your wife's picture there. Is that you in the sailor outfit there?
That's
you,
me.
a young man as a sailor? Okay,
Yeah.
and is that your daughter over there?
That's my daughter, Cheryl.
Okay. Where's Aaron?
Well, it's over there.
Okay, Aaron's over there.
Yeah,
I thought
get it.
I will. I thought Aaron might be here today. He didn't want to come today.
Well, I told him we had to go get lumber yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him, I said, well, the attorney's coming, and I said, tomorrow, isn't it? He said, yes. So when he said yes, I thought, well, he
Thought he'd
probably
be here.
Be here.
Do you have any?
Let it slip in.
Do you have anything else you want to say? Do you have any tattoos you want to talk about or anything?
I'll tell you a story about that tattoo.
Okay.
I walked in the downtown boulder lanes
Where?
in San Francisco, and there's an old chief sitting in a bar drinking, and I'm not as old then as I am now in that picture, and he hollered over, he said, hey mate, they call you mate, you know. He said, come over here. And I said, okay. He says, roll your sleeve up. I did. He said, I don't see no tattoos. Where are they? I said, I don't have any, and I'm not going to get any. He rolled his up. He said, look at me. He said, don't you get any. I said, I won't, Chief. And I went on.
When you say chief, you're talking about a Navy chief.
Yeah, he was a Navy chief.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a big guy up there.
And he told you not to get
Yeah,
any.
he said, oh, I said, I didn't want to.
And you're a Navy guy and you don't have a tattoo.
No, God. I had some big chiefs said, don't get tattoos. I never even thought about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well listen, let me get the camera off the tripod here.
Yeah, I'll get on that doggone Aaron.
Yeah, he
I
should have
thought,
been
sure,
here.
when he told me that, I said, well, he'll be here.
Yeah, he should be here. I don't have a battery in here. I just going off the.
Now, this is my mother. She was a school teacher.
Okay. Let me see.
That's
Now hold it up there. Let me see if I can get in on it. That's your mom. Okay, school teacher. Where did she teach? Up in.
Kentucky.
Get your daughter's picture there.
Okay, that's my daughter. She's in the United States federal courts, of course.
She's an attorney. She's
Mhm.
like a U.S. attorney,
Yes, United States federal courts.
and she's in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma and Muskogee.
She's got 2 kids.
2 kids, 2 little girls.
How old are they?
One is about 2.5, and the other's not quite a year.
Okay, very good. All right.
Okay?
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl.
Well, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's been a good girl, a nice girl.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you want another picture of my mother,
Okay, there's a, okay, yeah, let me get down on it. That's your mom there, isn't
yeah,
it?
that photographer on the square there took this picture.
That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, he was good.
He did a good job there,
he was
didn't he?
good. And he was on the canal, you know, station over there
Oh, was he?
on Tulagi.
Oh, he was on Guadalcanal?
Yeah, he was
And
going
Tulagi?
out and looking for survivors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you, the guy that rescued you, you served Cokes and candy to. I can't get over that story.
That's right.
I'm looking at your wall there, and okay, there's your plaque for the Purple Heart.
Yeah, and I'll
Right
show
there.
you see me in that.
Let's see how close I can get.
See me in that. And here's my discharge, Merchant Marine, Coast Guard, Navy. Here's the Navy's.
Mm-hmm.
There's the guy that you know.
Rutger, that's a story on him,
And here I am here. I don't guess I look my age, but
huh? Is that when you were at San Diego in boot camp?
that's right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Point to him. Put your finger right on you.
Okay, just a second here. Right here I am.
There you are.
And I've got my rifle.
Is that a Springfield?
Yes. Yeah. And
Now down there's your ship, isn't it?
yeah, here's the old ship, the Okinawa.
Okay.
This is my honorable discharge, United States Coast Guard. This is Merchant Marine.
Uh-huh.
And here's the Navy.
Mm-hmm. Who are those pictures over there on the wall there? Right there behind you.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
All right, this is Aaron, and this is me, and this is Cheryl,
Uh-huh.
and this is my mother-in-law.
That's your mother-in-law.
Oh, she's the one who said I should have been on you.
She called you a mule, I think, didn't she?
She taught school.
Okay.
She's about 7/8, almost,
Cherokee?
yeah, almost full blood.
Okay. And over here are your hats.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of those hats.
You've got a, Purple Heart. Well, you got a bunch of Purple Heart hats there, don't you?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, they do. I was trying to find one that you would possibly like. Here oh, here's where I was up.
Put that on.
Here's where I was up in Alaska.
It's got Alaska on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when were you in Alaska?
I was in 40s.
In the 40s? After the war?
No.
Oh,
yeah,
before-
no, before the war.
Before the war?
Yeah, then I come down, you know, I was down there a week, and then I got word that Pearl had been bombed.
Oh, okay. What were you doing in Alaska?
I was stationed up there.
Okay.
We was hauling oil. We went to Russia, across the sea up there.
Bering Sea?
Bering Sea,
Mm-hmm.
and back and forth, hauling oil, fueled man of wars.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
we were something else. That ship was.
What's that Pepsi-Cola hat doing over there? You work for Pepsi-Cola?
No, no. Some waitress down at Bob Evans gave it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, she gave me a couple hats.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got another hat here somewhere.
WZIO, okay. St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. You've
Yeah.
been, gosh, all over the world.
Yeah,
That's quite a collection.
yeah. Well, I had more than that one time, but yeah.
Here's the one I want. Here's the picture I want to take here.
Okay.
Now, this is you and your wife.
Yes, yeah.
Right there in front. Now, there's your wife.
My wife had 6 years of college.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I asked her if she would resign or what. She said, I'll resign.
Mm.
And she did. And if it wasn't for her, I'd been tough sledding for me.
Yeah.
But she worked. Did you see Aaron here somewhere?
No, I didn't see Aaron.
Oh, here, he's not.
There's my daughter.
He's not an adult here.
Oh, hold that out there again. I'm going to tell him about that. Tell him you showed me that picture and I have it on film.
Okay.
Tell him that,
I
will you?
will, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will. Going, dang it, he should have been here.
Oh, he should have been.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize for it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Okay, there we got him.
And, yeah.
Well, I don't know what else we can talk about. I'm sure we could put in fill up a whole tape again.
There he is. I thought I had.
Oh, gosh. Is that when he graduated from law school or from college?
From, I believe law school.
Okay.
I think now. I'm not certain. Either
Okay.
law school or college.
I don't know if the light's going to do very well in there. Okay, interesting.
Okay.
Okay, well. Well, you sure have a lot of mementos around, don't you?
Yes.
What other medals do you have? You have the Purple Heart. You have the World War II Service Medal, Pacific Theater, and
Yeah. I started flying. I started flying in San Diego.
you did. You have your pilot's license?
I did have.
Okay.
Yeah. I fly. I can fly all the time. I relieve Aaron.
Aaron has a pilot's license.
Yeah, he has one. I relieve him when we're on long trips.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he gets to sleep a little bit. Yeah.
I'll be darned.
And we had to put a new starter on our plane.
You still have a plane?
Yes.
Where is it? Out at the
Out at Medford.
out at Minford?
Yeah.
Okay.
Out at Medford.
Interesting. Does your daughter fly?
No, she don't like to fly much.
Okay. What do you got there? There's a plate. Is your,
Well,
hold that up.
here's that.
Who
Here's
is that?
that ring that
Was stolen?
was stolen.
Yeah,
this
it's
was
too bad.
made. This was made over in Hong Kong.
I see. Oh, well, then they can put your picture on a plate then, can't you? That'd be a nice souvenir.
Yeah.
When were you in Hong Kong there? It looks like a few years ago,
Oh, yeah.
recently.
I had my ring then.
Well, you had your ring anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
And here, that Rucker boy,
What do you got there?
he wanted me out there one time at Lucasville to talk and to tell things like we're talking here.
Uh-huh.
And he...
Kiwanis.
Kiwanis.
Okay. Hold that up there like that. So you went out to the Kiwanis and you gave them a little speech, a talk about the service and things like that, and things
Yes.
you've done?
Yes, and they, okay,
Yeah.
and they enjoyed it, yeah, they really did.
Oh, I bet they did. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's,
Well, I think
that's
we're...
all I've ever done is just about travel.
Yeah, I could tell. Well, I think we're about done here.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Unless you have anything else you'd like to add?
Well, not that I'm aware of right now.
Okay.
I'm sure they are.
Now you're down at the courthouse a lot, aren't you, Mr. Triple? I see you down there.
Yeah, I go down and pick up his papers.
Oh,
and file
you're
briefs.
you're his secretary.
Yeah,
You're Aaron's secretary.
yeah. But yeah, I'm more or less, what do I do? It's in my car,
What is that?
my briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be official.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to shut it off now. Okay, we're
Okay.
about at the end of it anyway.
All right. Boy, you got a good set here and everything.
Yeah.
You use that, I bet, a lot.
Oh yeah, I've used it a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see how many we got. Oh,
And you probably got a lot of veterans.
I do have. Again, we're talking about little Barry.
All right, little Barry is,
Why don't we sit down over there and let me put...
little Barry, he must be 7 or 8 years old now, I guess.
Uh-huh. And who is Barry?
He's Michael Reagan, our president, got him as a child after 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, is that right?
You never heard of getting a child that early.
Did he adopt him?
Well, I don't know where he adopted or not, but no, Michael did, yeah.
Michael adopted him?
Yeah, I don't mean that Barry, I don't mean Barry, but the father was our president.
The father of Barry
Barry, yes.
is Ronald Reagan.
No, Ronald Reagan is another child.
Okay. Okay. Who's the father of Barry? What's his name?
Our president, Reagan.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the father.
yeah.
Interesting.
Of course, he got that Barry, John. He got that Barry about 4, 5, 6 weeks after he was born.
How do you know that?
Well, I know it from his mother. He said, cause that's how I know it. She worked up to the bowling lanes for 10 years running the bar.
What was her name?
Irene.
Irene Lane.
Irene Lane. Yeah.
How do you spell L-A-N-G?
Right.
Okay.
And I knew her and her husband both real well.
Okay.
That's how we got in a conversation. We were looking at pictures. I
Mm-hmm.
said, Irene, you look like you should have been in Hollywood.
Hmm.
In fact, she was. She made several pictures. And she told me, said, Reagan got this child as my child when he was about 5, 6 weeks old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who is the... Irene wasn't married when she had Barry?
No,
Okay.
no. She made some pictures over there in Hollywood.
Uh-huh. And she had a relationship with Reagan,
Yes,
and then Barry is the child of Reagan.
that's right.
Okay.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what Irene said, huh?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right, she said.
Well, Barry's bound to be pretty old now, I mean, or much older.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
50s or something? How old would he be?
Mary must be up close to 20 or better.
Oh, okay.
Because Irene has been dead 10 or 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd be older than that, wouldn't he? I mean,
Yeah,
when?
he possibly would be, yeah.
Okay. And,
Because his stepbrother, they come down here and decorate the grave all the time.
okay. And that'd be, where is Irene buried?
Uh, Here in Portsmouth, some.
Down in Green Lawn, maybe?
Probably.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting story. Now, do you know any of the names of the pictures that she was in?
No, I can't name them, no.
Okay.
No.
But some of them were with Ronald Reagan then, the
Oh,
president.
yeah.
President.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty interesting story.
Of course, she talked about him all the time.
Did you, have you met Barry? Well, you knew
Oh, yeah,
Barry. You was in the
I taught
car.
him how to bowl.
Huh? You taught him how to bowl.
Oh, or tried to. He's just a little fella.
Okay. How old was he when you were trying to teach him to bowl?
About 4, 5, or 6.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that would be in the 50s, wouldn't it?
yeah. Would.
Okay, he'd be about 4 years old or something in his
His mother
50s.
then was still managing that bar up to Sunset.
Okay. All right. Now, when did she pass away? Do you know?
No, I don't know, John. No. She's been dead 10 or 15 years.
Okay. Now, Mike,
She knew she was going to die.
is that right?
She told little Mary, said, I'm going to die, so I want you to know this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Want you to know
Reagan.
who your daddy is?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Michael Reagan has a bar in Columbus, Ohio.
He has a show, I understand, up there, a talk show.
Oh, did he? A talk show
Yeah.
on radio?
Yeah, I guess. I understand he still does.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we got that on tape now for all the world to see.
yeah.
Let's see if there was another name that we were thinking about too, that we were going to try and remember, and I can't remember what we were going to remember.
What area?
Was it a relative? So we got your dad and your mother, and do you remember, Celeste? Remember what we were going to do? Yeah.
I can't come up with it, but
Okay.
possible I don't remember either.
Now, did you? Let me ask you this. You know, your parents. You left home. How old were you when you left home?
Oh, gee.
15,
I
16?
was about 15.
And you went to work for the 3C camp.
I did.
Did your parents let you do this, or was that something?
No. I remember our discussion.
Yes. You run off?
I ran off and I got a street walker to help me out.
I know. Now, where were your parents living at the time?
I think they were living on 4th Street in
Okay.
Portsmouth.
And you went down and joined the 3C? Did you join the 3C in Portsmouth?
Yes, yeah, I went to, I believe, the courthouse or something, I
Okay. And when you did that, then
think. Roosevelt promoted that.
did your parents know that you joined?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I asked him if it was all right, and my mother said, yeah.
Okay. And how did you get out there? By train?
I went with a train, a troop train,
A troop train?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they fed us food and everything.
Okay. Now that would have been about 1938, wouldn't it? 37, 38?
38 or 39,
Okay.
somewhere in there.
And that's after then you joined the Navy?
Yes.
Okay.
right.
Did they want you to go in the Navy, your parents?
I don't think they objected.
Mm-hmm.
No, 'cause I told them what was coming on,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was all right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of course, maybe it wasn't because I had to get this person to sign.
Now, did any of your other brothers serve in the service?
I had a brother that served in the Army over in Honolulu. I passed and repassed him for about 4 years, didn't know he was there.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll be.
yeah.
Now he was in Honolulu the whole time.
In and out, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had 2 other brothers that tried to get in, but one brother couldn't make it, and the other brother had bad lungs or something.
Mm-hmm. Your brother in Honolulu was in the Army.
In the Army.
Now, did he see action, combat over?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Which brother was it that you ended up in New York with?
Paul.
Paul?
Paul.
Is that the Army?
Oldest brother. He was the oldest boy.
Was he the Army boy?
No, he was the oldest brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was he doing in New York?
He was driving a truck and had a load of freight that he took over there.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess we're ready to quit now. Maybe not. If we think of something else, I've probably got just about a few more minutes here.
Well, if you do, I'll try to answer.